This is Jack. He won't be in the film again, but he's important to the story because he's where the flat began. He came into it on a whim and jumped out of it just as quick, abruptly ending his own narrative, but starting quite a few others. You could say he never got the pulse of it, too deep in his own world to keep him time. But this isn't about Jack. In the same flat around 3 years later, it was the afternoon. Dean got back from a morning's worth of meetings, working in a job he couldn't quite easily sum up in a title or a sentence. He couldn't decide whether to jump off the balcony or make pasta. Both seemed equally uninteresting. Then someone knocked at the door. Hive, coming in from the outside, was talking all kinds of shit and big ideas as she walked into his kitchen to find food and booze. She chose brandy, since it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon and it was all he had left. 2 years, 7 months, 3 minutes and 20 seconds before this, she woke up and couldn't move. Her lover came in and asked what was up. The colour had fallen out of her eyes. And it all looked grey. Not quite real. Not quite there. He got up and went to get ready for the day that was about to happen and put on the radio. And then, her hand twitched. I mean, you are white, male and well off. This is quite clearly true. This was the last thing he wanted to hear, especially a little after 3 in the afternoon. I'm not well off, I told you. I'm living here because... She ignored him. But you're still up here looking over this city and you're feeling so sorry for yourself. Fuck's sake, when are you going to get a job and stop constantly coming over here and pissing me off with you? That's all you ever talk about, work. As if it gives you any more purpose than what you eat for breakfast. Well, I don't eat breakfast. Well, you should. It's the most important meal of the day. And I've got a job interview next week. The one you told me about. Okay. Good. Hive switched to plan B and he seemed to agree. Her legs pulsed under the bed covers. Until this point, she had no idea that this particular song would have such a particular effect. Making her body want to move so much, not even the heaviness could suppress it. Around 3 years later, they were dancing too, letting in some of the looseness normally drowned out by the usual heaviness. Or at least tucked a little further back than just behind his eyes. Until the reality of it all hit him, along with the coke and brandy, and he slumped back down. Hive sort of knew what was up and tried to console him. But his head was turning too fast and he didn't want to be like this or even knew what being like this was. He was breathing too fast and all the drugs and dreams he thought didn't bother him got too much and he ran outside and jumped. And she fell. The song had already finished. He had already left as the day was already happening. Nobody ran to catch her. And he hadn't actually jumped. Just sort of looking out. He remembered a day he'd forgotten otherwise. A day when he was just content. The day before she got sad. Before she left. Hive brought Dean back inside and held on to him for a while. They didn't need to explain, they were still figuring it out. But this isn't about them.